It's a thirsty Thursday here, and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Of course, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, always joined by Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, just beeping and booping because that's what he does. Eric Ruby has been placed, of course, on a one-game suspension yet again. Hope you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. That's right. I'm Anthony Totri, not to be confused for Patrick Starr. I did get some color today and over the course of the past few days over at the Kajikawa practice fields because your Arizona State Sun Devils wrapped up day 2 of spring football. I promise we're going to get into all things Kenny, Dillingham, Jaren Hamilton, AJ Aya, all the Devils out there. We're going to hear from Sun Devil safety Xavier Alford as well a little bit later on in the program. But I think the news of the day is, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's Mo Odum, right? Mo Odum to ASU Hoops, your new point guard for the Arizona State Sun Devils. That feels like the biggest news in college basketball to me. I know there was this one little thing that occurred in Tucson a couple hours back. Koa Peat. Name just, not too familiar with me. Eric Ruby, I know he was on this program some weeks ago and just decided that he was going to swing for the fences and say that Koa was going to be a Sun Devil. Now he's getting memed on the internet, but hey, what's new at this point? Guys, I know there are a lot of people that want to talk about Koa Peat, and we will. It's an unfortunate situation, kind of. Not overly sad about it. When you go buy lottery tickets at your local Circle K, do you cry when you don't win? No, you just play again, right? That's how the lottery works. If you win, it's awesome. It's great. Yes. Do we wish that Bobby Hurley and Arizona State would have cashed in for Koa Peat, the 5-star, the prized local commit, the number 1 player in the state of Arizona, the number 8 player nationally? Absolutely. You would have loved to have it. But I'm not going to just flip the table upside down because Koa Peat's not a Sun Devil. That seems a little ridiculous to me. It was a win-win for Arizona State fans. Think about it. If you got Koa Peat, then you got Koa Peat. That's the win. You didn't. Now everybody's yelling at Bobby Hurley again, right? Like it's somewhat of a win-win scenario if you're an Arizona State fan. You would have absolutely loved to have it. Love to have Koa Peat. He would have been 100% a one-and-done guy that is just one of the best Arizona State Sun Devils likely in recent memory. There's no questions about that. But for the people that are saying, hey, we don't want Bobby Hurley here anymore, well, you got what you asked for. Realistically, this is another piece to that puzzle. It's a checklist going into this offseason for ASU basketball. There were 3 or 4 things, I would say, that you needed to absolutely check off before we got to next season. 1, keep Josan Sannon. Well, that didn't happen. Josan Sannon, you're a St. John's Johnny. Number 2, land Koa Peat. Well, that didn't happen, and here we are today, March 27th. Number 3, retain Jaden Quaintance. That's the next one on the checklist. Based off of what we've seen occur over the last week, I wouldn't be crossing my fingers. I wouldn't be holding my breath. Do I think Quaintance leaves? No. Personally, I don't think Jaden Quaintance leaves. But based on the track record of what's already occurred with ASU basketball over the last week, You can make your assumptions. Number 4, add talent in the transfer portal. I'll correct that. Add proven talent in the transfer portal. Has he done that yet? I'm waiting. Mo Odum, come on down. Pepperdine guard, 13 points per game, 7 assists per game, 4th nationally in assists. He's a true point guard. And we'll get into Mo. I promise. I will, before I go back into Koa, I will say Mo, great name. Mo is a top 10 name of all time. It just is. Not Mo Odum, just the name Mo. Love the name. Koa Peat. I see Arizona fans, social media, YouTube, particularly this YouTube channel, just losing their mind. Taking their victory laps, their parades, whatever. You're entitled to it. I was telling Captain Redbeard earlier, it makes me wish I went a little harder at you guys after we stomped you into the ground in football. But I guess we'll get a pass on that one. Make sure I don't repeat that same mistake twice next year. You're entitled, as an Arizona fan, to enjoy what you got. You got a great recruiting class. I'll give it to you. It's kind of ironic that you guys are already looking to the future when you're in the Sweet 16. I don't know if you guys just don't feel too confident about what's going to take place this evening against Duke. I know I do. I feel real confident in what's going to occur later on today. But yeah, you got Koa Peat. Like I said, if you're an Arizona State Sun Devil, this is a win-win. And I don't think enough people are realistically looking at that. If you are one of the rare few that's an Arizona State fan and you still wanted Bobby here, then yes, then today is a bad day for you. Pour one out and call it a day. You move on to tomorrow. But that's a slim few. There are a lot of folks, that didn't want Bobby here, back. They didn't. And yet they still thought they were getting Koa Peat. It's a win-win. That's what I'm trying to say here. I don't know how many times I can say it. Either you win the lottery with Koa and you more than likely get JQ back, which, don't get me wrong, there's an alternate reality out there that Dr. Strange saw where Jaden Quaintance is throwing lobs to Koa Peat and Sun Devil fans are losing their mind. I wish I was living in that reality. I do. But I'm not going to sit here and bang on the table and call all the Wildcats in my phone and say, oh my goodness, congratulations. It is what it is, right? ASU basketball, coming off one of its worst seasons in recent memory. You already lost a former 5-star this week. You're begging and pleading on your knees, praying that you keep the other one. It was never realistically something that was like, we're gonna do it, right? There was a chance, absolutely. You lost, but guess what? The same as any other lottery, there's gonna be more. You're gonna buy your tickets, and if you win, you win. Awesome, it's great. We'll celebrate together. Drinks are on you. But if you happen to not win the lottery, then guess what? You're going to continue to buy tickets. That's how it works. Will in the chat saying, Tony, that's just delusional. Talking about Tony Clifton, it's only a matter of time that Dilly flies the Sunflowers coop. I mean, it is what it is, right? T.I. in the chat saying, Totri, U of A is not looking to the future. They're doing what all elite programs do, just reloading. Well, congratulations. Congratulations on the reloading. I think most Arizona State fans, and rightfully so, are more interested in their college football playoff head coach, their Heisman-level candidate quarterback, their top 3 national wide receiver, Jordan Tyson. I think that's what most Arizona State fans are interested in. And we'll get to all that. But I want to do JJB and all the other Sun Devil fans that do care about ASU hoops, we'll do you a solid and we could talk a little bit about Mo Odum. Again, Pepperdine guard. He's a true point guard, pass first guy, 13 points per game, like I said, 7 assists per game as well, 4th nationally. But he went to Pepperdine. That's the only knock that I have on him. Not the craziest build, right? Built like a dude that went to Pepperdine. But you realistically hope that you have a guy now in Mo that's going to be able to actually lead this offense, to run this offense. Don't get me wrong. Alston Mason, I didn't have any issue with what he did overall as a player, but I feel like very similar to what Frankie Collins was when he first got to Arizona State. He was a mix, right? He could score or he could pass. Tough time doing both in the same game. I feel like Mo is more a pass-first point guard that is going to be able to set up other options. He's going to be able to set up a Jaden Quaintance under the basket. He is going to be able to drive, kick it out to Adam Miller, who may come back, may not come back. He's going to be able to actually kick it to other scoring options that we need, not that we want, that we need to see Bobby Hurley go get in the transfer portal. Again, I asked somebody this the other day. The season's technically not over for ASU hoops. In a couple days, they're going to play in the Crown. How are they going to do so? I don't know. I don't know how you field a roster with the guys that you have out there currently. We're going to find out, though. But what we do know for next year is Mo's going to be here. And you hope you get Mo players. That's what I'm going to say on that note. Look, I know there's a ton of people in the chat still talking about Koa Peat. If we want to talk about Koa Peat, we could talk about Koa Peat. I'll go back and forth with you all day. This is what I do. I love to go back and forth with Wildcat fans till I get pink in the face, which I already am. Shout out to Sun on that one. We could do it if you want to talk Koa Peat. I'm absolutely fine with that. It is what it is. Like, I don't know what else I can say so much about it. How do you feel about it, Captain Redbeard? Like, I feel like the lottery analogy is pretty good in this specific instance. If you want it, you want it. Cool. It's awesome. If you don't, you still buy lottery tickets again.
Yeah. I mean, you still keep going for other players. Like, I mean, this is a big, we missed out on this one, but I mean, it's not over yet. You know, I still have hope. We can still get some players to come to ASU for sure.
Absolutely. This team's good. They're going to be able to field the team next year. Like there's no issue and there's no concern with that. Don't get me wrong. I know there are people that probably think that I'm just sweeping this under the rug and I'm trying to avoid talking about Koa Peat. Yeah, dude. Would this have been awesome? Yeah. He's a 5-star. He's a 4-time what? Champion, state champion, 3-time Gatorade Player of the Year. It's either that or vice versa. Of course you would have loved to have him in your program. Like, I don't know what else I can say on that note. You would have loved to have him. He's an athletic freak. He can score. He can play defense. 2 things that Arizona State really, really needed this past year and really, really need moving forward. But like I tried to say, and Sharon, I'll repeat it for you since I know you missed the first couple minutes, this is a win-win. Yes, you would have loved to get Koa. I am not throwing that away. But for those, and there are many, that didn't want Bobby Hurley back, this helps you. This helps your argument for him to be done after this year. Realistically, think about it. I want you to just dive into this. And this is going to, there are Arizona fans in the chat, and I love that y'all are here, that are going to say that I'm coping. Okay? I know it. Whether they say it in the chat or on Twitter or whatever, they're going to say I'm coping. But think about this. Think about if Koa Peat does commit to Arizona State. Then you 100%, you're probably getting Quaintance back, right? It's an attractive spot. Okay? You've got Quaintance starting. You got Koa starting. You got your point guard and Mo. Maybe you go get Frankie Collins back. You add a couple other pieces in the portal. Boom, we're cooking with gas. Okay, we got a team. Then you go out next year. Let's say you put on a show. Let's say Sun Devil basketball is the place to be. Okay? I know. La La Land. But let's play there for a second. It happens. Boom. Koa goes pro. JQ goes pro. Would you look at that? Our 5 stars are no longer there. The program, most certainly, in my estimation, with a Koa Peat, Jaden Quaintance duo, is going to the NCAA tournament. At least they should. So let's say this team goes to the tourney. Those guys leave. You know what you get? Do you know what you get? You get a Bobby Hurley extension fresh off the press. Is that what you wanted? I'm asking you. I know the U of A fans want that. The U of A fans certainly want that. But for those of you, and I'm not putting myself on any aisle here, for those of you that wanted Bobby gone, this helps you. It helps your argument. It makes it more likely that next year is his last. Again, that's that side of the argument. Of course, the other side is, boom, we got Koa, let's ball out. I would have loved to have seen it. I'm sure a lot of you would have loved to see it. Nifty Cello in the chat saying, hell of a hypothetical here. It's what I do. It's what I do. Sometimes you just got to cook. And Bobby couldn't cook on that end, so I guess I got to kind of cook here. Right? It is what it is. JJB in the chat saying, it's not sexy, but those have been the best Bobby teams. This is copium. I recognize that, but that's the fact. Hey, sometimes we just got to do it. Sometimes we just got to do it. Tony in chat saying, Ruby was smart not to be on air today. Yeah, it was, I'm not going to confirm or deny that Rubus's appearance or lack thereof on this show today revolves around the Koa Peat news. We may have stuck him in a Waymo that is not to be located for the day. But again, cannot confirm or deny the whereabouts of my good pal and partner, Senor Rubus. Do you know where Rubus is today, Captain Redbeard? Or have you been told the same thing, not allowed to disclose the information?
Yeah, I mean, I think he saw that clip come out on Twitter and didn't want to face the fans of Arizona.
I think that's fair. I think he'll have to probably, answer the music and answer the call tomorrow. But
he's going to have to answer for it.
At some point. At some point he will. William in the chat saying, call Koa to Tucson in the Discord last night. Hate being right, but I'm 2-2 on B-ball predictions. Lost Highway saying Odum is a baller. Look, like I said, I like Mo. I think Mo's a true point guard here. I think this is realistically the best opportunity that a point guard has had at Arizona State in a while to be a true point guard here, to run Bobby Hurley's offense, or what this offense is hopefully going to look like in 2025, 2026. But I think it's still too early to see and to really judge if Mo's going to have success here. Because for a true point guard to be successful, we got to see all the weapons around him. And right now, we don't know too many of the weapons around Mo next season. Right now, what? Outside of Mo, who do you know that's coming back? Right? You're hoping JQ comes back. You're hoping Adam Miller decides to use that extra year of eligibility. You're hoping Amir Ali takes a big jump this year and doesn't enter the transfer portal. You're hoping Sean Phillips comes back. Like, you still need to go get other pieces and go get other weapons, right? This team needs some wings badly. They need some wings and they need some shooters. And right now, they don't have them. They don't have enough of them, at least. But that's what the transfer portal's for. I'm sure Bobby hated to see Koa commit to U of A. I'm sure he did. But guess what? It doesn't stop. You think Bobby just threw in the towel after that, said, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to let the Twitter trolls just go at me today. No. This cycle of transfer portal and recruiting and everything doesn't stop. And it's not going to simply stop for Arizona State because Koa Peat decided to play 2 hours south. It won't stop. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm not looking forward to seeing Koa Peat in a U of A jersey with Carter Bryant and Bryce James. That doesn't sound like a fun evening for yours truly. But it's the reality, right? And if you want to go further into the copium here, just further deep dive, just imagine how sweet it's going to be if they win. Imagine how sweet a victory would be for Mo Odum and the Arizona State Sun Devils over that trio, over a Carter Bryant, over a Bryce James with LeBron sitting courtside, Bobby screaming at him red in the face, and Koa Peat. I'm here for it. I'm here for a last second Koa Peat's backing down JQ, but guess what? Quainton says no, swats it the other way. That's game. Arizona State gets the dub. There's your copium. You want to continue because we can. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. I'm going to take a breather. So should you. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, calling sports fans everywhere, opening day has arrived. Not to mention, you still got some of the best games of the college basketball season left on the docket for today and over the course of the next few days. Go outside. Go touch some grass. And when I say touch grass, I mean literally go get yourself some tickets. Go out to these sporting events with our friends over at Game Time. Look, they've got a new feature called Game Time Picks that, of course, makes getting tickets for events even easier. Best part about Game Time Picks is it filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. So you don't got to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. Personal favorite part about Game Time is it feels like it's built for me, a procrastinator. The deals seem to only get better the longer that I wait to go snag my tickets. Okay? Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Also, want to tell you about our friends and people that I consider my family over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Whether you guys are looking to enjoy the sun by the pool, maybe a little staycation, go win some money at the sports books or the gaming floor, they got it all over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They also got 3 words for you: sneakers, stories, and style. They've reimagined Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar, and they've turned it into a sneaker lover's dream. March 20th through the 30th, only a couple more days that you guys can take advantage of everything they have to offer. From the first step to the final dunk, discover the history and artistry behind each pair. Make sure you head over to playatgila.com/promotion/the collection. Remember, you do you at Gila River Resorts Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. See what we got in the chat today. JJB saying, all I'm going to say is I don't think there'd be 50 plus ASU fans in the Arizona PHNX chat if today was switched. Hey, we're here for it. The more the merrier. If Arizona fans feel inclined to bark at me on YouTube the same way they do in my Twitter mentions, that's, you're entitled to it. It's fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. For all the ASU fans that watch this show, listen to this show on the regular, you know that the hoops guy is Rubus. The guy that we can't even tell you where he's located at today. He's in his feels about this. I'm the football guy, man. I don't know what you want from me. I gave you my copium strategy, how I'm gonna get through it. You want to realistically know what this does? Koa Peat, that news, it means that today, when my day is over, I'm going to go home, I'm going to open my fridge, and I'm going to pull out a nice ice cold brew. I'm going to pop the cap off, and I'm just going to sip it. That's what I'm going to do. In honor of Koa not committing to Arizona State. I'm just going to drink a cold one. What else can you do? Right? Like, you can't get mad about it. If you're an Arizona State fan, what's there to get mad about? Would you have done anything different? Think about it. If you were Koa, what's the argument? I'm genuinely trying to think here. Dude wants to play for a winner. We won 4 conference games last year. Doesn't sound like they won a lot to me. The other team's in the Sweet 16. Bummer. You want to get 5 stars? Your coach has got to win more. They got to be in the tournament more. Point blank, period. That's what it is. Like I said, it doesn't really change my life all that much. What does, though? Football. Things are good. This pink that you see, this starburst back of a pencil pink that you see, it's going to be golden. It's going to be golden. Couple days. And that's all thanks to Kenny and the boys. That's really all you could do. Okay? Feedback in the chat saying, Totri, you know plenty of Cat fans, present company included, actually like you and Ruby and think you rock out a good show on the regular. We just like different teams. Appreciate you, feedback. I really do. And I hope you guys know I don't usually throw shade at the Wildcats. Like, it's not usually what I do. Rubus, again, I feel like I'm throwing Rubus under the bus a lot today, but he's not here. So I feel like normally it's more of him that likes to attack y'all. If you come at me, then yeah, I'm gonna respond. But again, I'm not gonna name names, Damon and Kevin. They have been on their victory lap today, their parade. It's not even 1:30 in the afternoon, and they have tagged us in like 4 or 5 different tweets about Koa. I mean, guys, if you wanted a retweet, all you had to do was ask. You got my number. Just come on. I promise I'll do it. I'll engage with it if you want to. Like I said, it makes me wish that I went harder at them after Kenny killed the Cats in November. But I didn't. But here they are. They're coming at me, man. I guess you live and you learn. Sometimes the people that hurt you the most are the ones you love the most. You know, Captain Redbeard? It's a tough world. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, man. And sometimes you just gotta chug along. And that's what we're gonna do. Nifty Cello in the chat, appreciate you and everybody else we have in the chat today. Arizona fan, Arizona State fan, Sun Devil, Wildcat, somewhere in between. What we all are sports fans. Yes, do we love to irritate our rivals? Absolutely. But what we love even more, at least around here, is if you guys hit that like button and you hit the subscribe button and you just come back for all the amazing content that we have here. Look, if you're an ASU fan, lots of spring football still on the docket. If you are a Wildcat fan, which I don't speak to y'all directly often, I do want to do our Wildcat boys a little bit of a favor. They have got a lot going on today. A lot of shows. They got their pregame and postgame show, I believe, going on today. Right, Captain? They got a pregame show for that Duke game?
I think a watch-along, too.
Watch-along, too. Go show them some love a little bit later on in the day. They're doing all things Wildcats, which, beats me. I don't know why they'd want to do that, but I'm going to get into football now, if that's okay with everybody else in the chat. One last comment on Koa here from Bees, since Bees is in here quite often, saying, Totri, I'm not going to lie, this Koa Peat debacle feels like betrayal. Pain. Can I ask why it feels like betrayal? Do you feel like, who do you feel betrayed by? Do you feel betrayed by Koa? By the program? By whatever God you believe in? Who betrayed you? Because I feel like you're more betrayed by the program that is Arizona State than Koa in and of itself. I'm not going to knock the kid. 17, 18-year-old kid. Think about it. All he's ever done at this level is win. State champion State champion, state champion. Gatorade player of the year, Gatorade player of the year, Gatorade player of the year. He wants to win. Bobby Hurley didn't win a lot last year. He didn't win a lot the year before. I can't blame him. He's going to go get his bag. That's that. I know there are a lot of ASU fans that, again, felt like they were in this race. And let's get something very clear. Arizona State was certainly in the race for this kid. Certainly in the race in the top 5. I would go as far to say it probably a top 3. But at the end of the day, they wanted to win. Koa wanted to win. And like B said in the chat, did what he felt was best for him. Can't knock anybody on that. It would be different if he was at Arizona State and then transferred. Or if he pulled the San special and committed to a school and then said, nah, just kidding, I'm going to go to the rival. It'd be a little bit different, right? It is what it is. B's in the chat saying, I don't hold it against him, even though his brother is a Sun Devil. I mean, that's just, Thanksgiving's going to get ugly. That's all I'm going to say. At that point, hey, Dilly did his part, man. Dilly gave his brother a carry in the first game of the season last year while Koa was in attendance. I didn't see Brent Brennan do none of that. Oh, but you know why? The Wildcats were actually never up enough on an opponent to allow, like a defensive lineman to do something like that. They were actually, what was it, like within a score with NAU at halftime, something along those lines. But, it is what it is. Look, I promise we're going to get into Dillingham and football, and we're going to hear from Xavier and Alford, but I do want to take just one more quick break. Look, I said I'm going to drink a cold one tonight, but I got something probably even better if you're an Arizona State fan looking to cope with today's news, and that's our friends over at Pure Edibles. They were founded in Arizona and they're available in 130 dispensaries statewide. Pure gummies, they're not covered in sugar like all of their competitors, but don't get it twisted. They still taste like candy. Okay, they're offering gummies. They got Kicks, which is their version of Starburst, chews, soft candies like caramel, and hard candies for anybody and everybody that indulge, of course, if you are of the legal age. And the best part, Pure Effects, they're clearly listed on each tin, so you know exactly what effects you guys can expect. Whether you need something to help you sleep, maybe you need something to uplift you after today's news, well, guess what? Pure Edibles, they got you covered. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. Now, this is normally the part in the show where I point to Rubus and I say, buddy, you're looking so handsome today. And it's always because that guy is sporting his Branded Bills cap. Make sure you elevate your brand with Branded Bills. They're perfect headwear and apparel, whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees. They've got you covered with performance and style. Look, everybody here at PHNX, a couple weeks back, we took a trip over to the Branded Bills facility. We made our very own hats, and we saw the time, energy, and passion that goes into creating not just one hat, but hundreds of them. And I'll tell you what, all of the time, energy, love, and effort that they put in, I mean, it really shows in the product that they have, okay? Head to brandedbills.com and use that code PHNX for 20% off your first order. B's in the chat saying, unlike the Herm Edwards era where he couldn't give less of a blank about recruiting our own backyard. Yeah, at least Bobby tried, right? At least Bobby tried. He's like, yo, I'm going to go try and get the best player in the state. And if we get him, cool. If we don't, bummer. They tried. Not having nearly as much success on the local recruiting front as our boy Kenny Dillingham is having. But it is what it is, okay? Look, I was out there at spring practice today. A couple names for you guys if you're an Arizona State fan, a Big 12 fan, or just a college football fan in general to really be mindful of. Day 2 I mentioned it when Rubus asked me after Tuesday's show or on Tuesday's show, who do I think is going to be the Keith Abney of this year? Who is going to be the guy that really takes a big jump? And I said it was going to be Rodney Bimage. Had a great interception day one. Looked like he had really gotten technical and sound with his footwork. Looks like he added some weight, got a little bit bigger, also faster. Today, another phenomenal day. Had just a ridiculous interception. Not really sure how he even managed to get that done. I'm actually, while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and send that interception to you, Kyle. And we can go ahead and get that on the show for everybody to see because it was one of the best plays over the course of the first spring practices. Also got another touchdown today. This one from AJ Aya, your 6'6" tight end, who's a freshman, now listed, by the way, they have updated his weight to 255 pounds. 6'6", 255 as a freshman. Are you kidding me? I was actually talking with the man of the hour from last show, Jordan Ham, who filled in for me. Appreciate that. And there's not a lot of guys that you can necessarily point to in college football today and be like, hey, they have played every single year that they have been on a college roster. AJ Aya is a guy that you can 100% see playing every year that he is on a college roster, including this year. I know Shaman's here. I know Kamari's here. But at the end of the day, like, AJ is too good not to play. A 4-star at that size, he's going to really start to fill in. I feel like, again, 6'6", 255, maybe he adds 5 more pounds, or maybe he stays there, right? I think his weight is realistically pretty solid. I think he could go anywhere between 5 pounds heavier or 5 pounds lighter. I'm trying to find this. I've got just so many videos on my phone from today's practice. I promise. Okay, I think this is the one I just sent for AJ. We've got the Bimage interception. We got Jaren Hamilton with a nice catch today. The Alabama transfer, who, my goodness, is quick. Let's see. Is this? You'll have to excuse the technical trouble I'm having here. If I send you just all these videos, Captain, can you just find which one's AJ? Here we go. There we go. I promise. It's worth the wait, ladies and gentlemen. It's worth the wait. But yeah, those 3 today were the winners of day 2 of spring ball. Jaren Hamilton, the Alabama transfer, who looks faster than I anticipated. I know there were a lot of people that were really, really excited about his speed when he got to Arizona State. There have been other speedsters, right? I think you look at a guy like Caleb Black, who was here over the course of the last few years. He was a speedster. He was the guy that you could take the top off the defense. And Jaren Hamilton is better than Caleb Black, and he's more technical, right? He's bigger. He is faster, I would say. And I think he is going to have a real impact this season, which is, for me, a little bit unique to say. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Arizona State fans in the chat, is I feel like there are years where you can point to a player and say, okay, they transferred to Arizona State from X, Y, and Z. You think they're going to be something, and when the season rolls around, well, guess what? They're just flat out not. Jaren Hamilton, I don't think, is going to be that guy. In fact, while we're talking about the receivers, I'm going to go as far to say that this is the best wide receiver room that Arizona State has seen since the N'Keal Harry, Frank Darby era, since that group of wide receivers. Maybe better. I think Jordan Tyson is your N'Keal Harry. He's faster than N'Keal, right? He's a little bit smaller, but he's faster. I think overall he could be a better wide receiver than N'Keal was. Definitely a better NFL talent than N'Keal was. You've got your 2 in Malik McClain, who continues to put together strong practice after strong practice. I'd like to see him do it a little bit more, just higher volume, I would say, throughout spring practice. You've got your slot guy in Jalen Moss, who, again, I have been really, really impressed with. Reminds me a lot of just a Keenan Allen type, right? I'm not saying he's going to be Keenan Allen, but just in terms of the ability to get in and out of his breaks really, really quick. He is a really crisp route runner, which I think you could definitely utilize if you're Kenny and Marcus Arroyo. If you're Sam Levitt and you look at these guys, you've got your go-to one in Tyson on the perimeter. You've got your jump ball guy in Malik McClain. And now you're telling me I got a dude in the slot who last couple of years is putting up hundreds and hundreds of receiving yards at Fresno State to be my slot guy. And then you throw in the fact that I've got a all-conference tight end in Shaman coming back, paired with Kamari Anderson, an SEC tight end. Throw in my 6'6" tight end, AJ Aya. I'm cool with that. And then the Alabama transfer, Jaren Hamilton, who could take the top off. I mean, that's something to celebrate. That's what this offense is going to look like. The running back room, I still don't know. I still couldn't tell you who's starting. I genuinely don't know if it's going to be Kyson. I don't know if it's going to be Kanye. Raleek got work today. I know Raleek's going to contribute. Those are your three running backs. Jason Brown Jr., where does he fit in? I think you get one. I think one running back transfers. If I'm being honest, I think that's my personal opinion. I think there is a running back in this room that will transfer by the end of spring. Just because of the room. Think about it. You've got Kyson, who's a junior. You have got Kanye, who I believe is a junior. You've got Jason Brown Jr., who's a redshirt freshman. You have got Alt McCaskill, who's a redshirt senior. 1 year left of eligibility, by the way. Where do all these guys fit? Raleek Brown. Not all these guys are getting touches this year. They're just not. And unless Alton really wants to go down and do this season as a Sun Devil, which I would applaud, he's the one that I would put money on to probably not be here. I'd love it if he were here. Depth-wise, I think that's awesome. He's a big running back, but he's got 1 year left, and we're not talking about him starting. This dude, as a freshman at Houston, ran for 1,000+ yards. Dealt with some injuries. I just don't know. I just don't know if he's realistically going to be in the fold at the running back room. Again, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, and if I am, troll me like you have trolled Rubis today. Okay? Just do it. Do we have the clips today? Or from the spring practice?
I've got two. Two ready for you.
We've got two. Okay, let's kick up the first one and see what we have. I think this is the Jaren Hamilton. Yeah. Look at how quick and crisp he gets in and out of that route. That's on Nyland Green in coverage, who is a lot bigger than I thought. 6'2", I believe, $185. Pretty big corner. But again, look how quick he gets in and out of his break here. Just Nyland didn't stand a chance. And this is on a route like a deep slant or a post. Okay? Wait till you get this guy going vertical. That's going to be the real problem. Or you get him on a mesh concept. Totri's personal favorite. Watch out now. Watch out. Now let's go kick it to Rodney Bimage and see what he's got on this lovely interception. Look at this. Again, Jaren Hamilton there. Are you kidding me? How are you able to recover like that? Let's play that one again. And then mind you, this is Jaren Hamilton. Again, he wins the release. Bimage turns his head. There's a little bit of foot fighting. Bimage comes down with it. Is that not a ridiculous interception, Captain?
That's crazy. He's stumbling. Still has his eye on the ball.
Catch that pass.
Still has his eye on the ball.
It's absolutely insane. I do again want to try and get the AJ video. My phone is just being is not necessarily functioning very well. So again, it is all over social media too. I tweeted it from my social at Anthony_Totri. If you want to see the AJ video, and potentially we'll put that on some other stuff on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed to all of that. We got a couple questions in the chat. Love to answer any questions that we have about football, etc. Let's go from Ben here saying, question about tight ends. Maybe you mentioned him and I didn't hear. Whatever happened to Fortier? Jaden Fortier still at Arizona State. Had actually a conversation with him a couple weeks back. Knee looks healthy, looks good. It's just kind of I mean, think about the room, right? Again, we've mentioned Shaman, an all-conference guy, who's back. It's tight end 1. Kamari Anderson, who's a little bit of an older tight end as well, coming from the SEC at Kentucky. He's bigger. And when I say bigger, not necessarily taller, but he's more filled out, right? That's the difference right now between Shaman and Kamari and realistically the rest of the tight ends. I know AJ is big, but these other guys are filled out, right? They don't look 18, 19 years old. They look like 20, 21-year-old future league tight ends, right? So that's the difference between those guys. And the fact of the matter is, if you aren't that size weight-wise, Arizona State is asking you to be able to block as a tight end too, right? You can't just go out there and be a pass catcher. Why did Cam Scadaboo have so much success last season? Yes, the offensive line, but it helps to be able to have a tight end off there, like off the edge, and be able to actually block, go to the second level and make it happen. Jaden Fortier, I think, needs to add a little bit more weight. I think he is still certainly going to be an impact player at Arizona State throughout his career. Do I think that is this season? I think time will tell. I think as of right now, your tight end room is pretty set with what you're going to do. Again, things can change, but overall, I think Fortier just needs to add a little bit of weight before we actually see him in the mix here in the fold. But knee looks like it is coming together well. Before I get to your question, Bees, we have the AJ video here. Let's go ahead. You guys can get a look at what AJ did today. Nothing crazy on the route. Imagine 6'6", 255. See ya. We're running right past the corner. Right past the corner. I cut it there because AJ took out a media member at the end of that. But again, look at this. Look at this release. It's crisp. It's smooth. See ya. Gone. You're not going to catch him. Beautiful stuff. 6'6", 255. We'll put it right in the breadbasket. Thank you very much. Take that to the bakery. Loved it. Bees in chat saying, Totri, where do you think Xavier Guillory can go? That Iowa State game should help him get drafted higher, and he had a really good pro day. I'm thinking 4th and 5th. Oof. I think 4th round is a stretch for Xavier Guillory. I see the potential in a guy like that. I don't know how much one game realistically moves the needle. I think if we're talking about Xavier Guillory getting drafted, I would say somebody would have to fall in love with him in the 5th round. And again, that's falling in love with him. I think more realistically, we're looking at 6th, 7th, or undrafted for Xavier Guillory, which I think is a steal. I think whoever gets Xavier Guillory, if he does manage to be in the undrafted free agent market, is getting an absolute dog at wide receiver, a guy with a lot of talent and a lot of potential to be a good wide receiver at the next level. But the production necessarily just isn't there if you look at what he did with the weapons that were around him over the last 2 years, right? Cam Scadaboo and Jordan Tyson took the bulk of the offense last season, and when they didn't, Shaman did. So yes, when Tyson was out and Scat needed a breather, Guillory was certainly there, but there are definitely going to be teams that question, okay, can you do this at the next level? And if you can, why didn't you do it here? Why didn't you have ridiculous numbers at Arizona State? So I think he's worthy of a 5th round pick. I think realistically, though, you're looking at 6th, 7th undrafted, to be completely frank with you. I feel like that's fair. Were there any other questions? I don't know if it was Bees or somebody else, if we could scroll up in the chat, potentially had just one more. Yeah, feedback saying, Totri, what are your thoughts on BYU football in years to come with the big organized funding machine they have ramped up to offer stupid NIL deals? I think as long as NIL exists in its current form, there are going to be programs like a BYU that just have boosters that can throw a blank check at a kid and just go, right? Like, boom, let's go. Here is however much money you want. We're going to rock and roll. Come be a BYU Cougar. That's fine. I think there is always going to be kids, take Koa Peat, for example, if you want to go full circle here, that are going to want to win, that are going to want to go to programs that win. So yes, can BYU shell out a ton of money? Sure. Are there other programs nationally that maybe don't have championships or don't have college football playoff appearances or don't have Sweet 16 appearances that throw you money? Yeah, those are always going to exist. But if you want to win, those aren't really realistically the schools that you go to. So I'm not really too concerned with BYU until they win something, right? I think what they've done in basketball this year is pretty remarkable. And I think that could be a real problem down the line if they continue to be what they are from a basketball perspective. Don't they have like the number one recruit in this upcoming class? So BYU is going to be a problem in college basketball. I'm not sure how many Division I legitimate superstars want to go play college football at BYU. That's just kind of the nature of it. Yes, Ralph had a question. Ralph, I will answer any question you have any day that ends with Y, buddy. Clinton's in the chat saying, is that Totri or Travis Kelce? With the hair growing in a little bit, maybe the pink color here and the mustache, I could give you 4 catches for 45. I could do that. Maybe not in the Super Bowl. I don't, Taylor Swift's not hitting me up, but it's, I'll leave that at that. I guess it is what it is at that point. BL is saying, if I was Pete, I'd rather go to GCU than play for Hurley. Ask 9. He wasn't bought out. Yeah, I don't think GCU was ever really an option. I'm going to be honest with you. You're always going to choose the Division I school. I don't care if GCU has made the tournament however many times. Like, it's GCU. GCU is I'm not going to take a program seriously, and maybe this is just me and my brain that is more of a football heavy mind. I don't take any college realistically too seriously that doesn't have a football team. I don't know how serious you could take it. Now, the flip side of that is there are going to be programs now at the Division I level, in theory, down the line that when revenue sharing comes into play are going to have a much bigger piece of the pie to throw to their basketball players than schools that have football programs. So that's a piece of the argument, but GCU they don't scare me. But I mean, what? Bobby Hurley beat him last year. Like, GCU doesn't do anything for me. The occasional, like, they get ramped up and they get excited is cool. Guess what? We took your women's basketball coach. Now she's our women's basketball coach. She gives off Kenny Dillingham vibes. Like, GCU wants to be us. That's what it is. GCU wishes they went to Arizona State. Ralph saying, what if basketball started going by golf scoring rules? If they went by golf scoring rules, then, Ralph, I think you would see Arizona State in the Final Four every single year. Genuinely. Teams that can't score points going to championships sounds like a recipe for a Bobby Hurley extension. What do you think, Captain? That work for you?
Fire me up.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Me up. Guys, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Really, really do appreciate everybody in the chat today. Also, want to make sure everybody sees a new story that we have over at gophnx.com. Intern David cranked this one out. It is a story on Molly Miller, your new Arizona State women's basketball coach. So definitely go check that one out. Solid work by David. Appreciate him heading over to that press conference yesterday while your boy was under the weather. Definitely go check that out. Also, while you're on the website, gophnx.com, click the little Die Hard tab. Love you too, Ralph. Genuinely. Click the little Die Hard tab. It's going to tell you everything that you unlock when you become a PHNX Die Hard, whether you're a Wildcat fan or an Arizona State fan. I know we got a lot of Arizona State fans here that are indeed PHNX diehards. Love seeing you guys in the chat, but what I love seeing even more is all you guys in our diehard Discord as well, chatting about ASU football, ASU basketball, ASU women's basketball, etc., etc. Go PHNX.com, diehard. Not only are you going to get access to that diehard Discord, you're going to get a free t-shirt or hat every single year. You're also going to get exclusive diehard only content. You're going to get discounts on events and merch, and the list goes on and on and on. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything, guys, but I think we're having a little bit of a deal on the website. Don't tell anybody, okay? I didn't tell you that. Go check it out. It's definitely out there. And we'd love to welcome everybody to the Die Hard Discord. I know we got Sharon, who is the mother of the chat. We got Will, who is a Die Hard Discord as well. I believe Bees might be a Die Hard as well. That could be just my brain thinking Bees has been here for a long time. But I do believe Bees is a Die Hard as well. Look, wrap up a couple things before we get out of here today. What did we learn on today's PHNX Sun Devils show, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we learned that Jaren Hamilton is a speedster. He's an absolute speed demon that certainly is going to contribute to this offense alongside a number of Arizona State wide receivers named Jordan Tyson, Jalen Moss, Malik McLean, that are going to be potentially the best wide receiver room that Arizona State has seen since the N'Keal Harry, Frank Darby days. Genuinely believe that. What else did we learn? We learned that AJ Aya is a problem already. Wait till this kid has a full spring under his belt. Look what he's doing after 2 practices. What's he going to look like after 15? What's he going to look like after 6 games? Hell, what's he going to look like after a season? Catching passes with Sam Levitt. We learned that Mo Odum is your more than likely new starting point guard for Arizona State, unless Frankie Collins comes knocking on the door. Which, Frankie Collins, come on down. I'm here for it. Again, 4th nationally in assists last year, 13 points per game, 1 knock on the kid. Not necessarily the biggest dude in the world. Also, previous school is Pepperdine. Beautiful view. Don't know how much their basketball program really scares me. And the one final thing, Koa Peat, the 5-star, the number 8 player nationally, the number 1 player locally, the 4-time state champion, 3-time Gatorade Player of the Year. Yes, that's right. He committed to the Arizona Wildcats. But like I said, you can look at this 2 ways. And I feel like Ralph will appreciate this, knowing just how well constructed his analogies and metaphors are. You don't cry when you lose the lottery. You just go back to work and buy another lottery ticket the next day. That's what Bobby Hurley and company are going to do. Me? I'm going to crack open a cold one tonight and just say, well, we didn't get him. You move on and buy another lottery ticket. And if you don't like that, well, how many of you didn't want Bobby Hurley back in the first place? This helps you there. You didn't get Koa Peat, which means the odds of having an NCAA tournament caliber team next year are probably slightly smaller because you don't have 5-star Koa Peat. So that helps you there. It hurts Bobby, hurts ASU basketball, but it helps the fans that seemingly want Bobby gone. Guys, hit the like button one final time. Hit the subscribe button. Genuinely appreciate everybody hopping in today. Of course, we will be back in action on Friday. We'll see if Rubis can actually face the music tomorrow or if he will be on another game suspension. Also, if anyone wants to send me sunscreen, I could use it at this point if you couldn't tell. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You could follow the man that said ASU was going to get Koa Peat at Eric Ruby. That is Eric with a K. You can follow Mr. Beep Bop Boop Bop Boop, Captain Redbeard at K Coop Sports. And like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. But in the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.